Hello, my name is Jim, and we're here to do another episode of Jim's Kitchen. The previous episode, we did sausage, and the sharp-eyed among you will note that the meat that I am going to use to brown in this episode is the sausage we just got done making. So this episode is going to be how to brown meat. And we start out, as always, with what you need. A fry pan or a skillet. And a word on use of your skillet. Now let's finish getting what you need first. What you need also includes a spatula. I recommend plastic or nylon. Wood will do nicely. The objective is you don't want to damage your non-stick skillet with your spatula. A word on the use of your skillet. If your stove, the third thing you need, has basically two settings, is this thing on and Viking Funeral, that's not a variable heat stove top. So deal with that first. And I understand you may be very good at lifting your fry pan and putting it back down, kind of like a World War II biplane engine, starting it and stopping it to control your speed. But that's not really going to cut it. Because what happens to your fry pan when you use too much heat to warm it up? And this goes for any kind of a cooktop, gas, electric, it doesn't matter. When you apply too much heat too quickly, the bottom of the pan gets hot before the sides of the pan gets hot. Metal expands when it gets hot. What happens is the bottom of the pan will end up bowing. And your pan will sit there and rattle around and roll around on your cooktop. You think your cooktop is bad, and no, it's not. You've heated your pans too quickly. And they may even have developed a permanent bulge on the bottom. I have emphasized the bulge for communication purposes. And when you do that, that bulge in the middle becomes permanent. And it's the only thing that's in touch with your cooktop. And it always heats up first. And the problem just exacerbates itself. So, and I'm not saying that your cooktop hasn't bowed a little bit. That's not what I'm saying. But use low heat, heat your fry pans gently, and make them last longer. Alright, I'm going to move my camera to my view the stove mount, find out what my dog is on about, and I'll be back. Alright, the camera is mounted, the pan is on the stove, and here we are adding the sausage that we just got through blending in the last episode to our pan. Turning the heat on about 1/3 to 1/4 of the available power. And this is what I refer to as breaking up the meat. Hold the blade first one way, chop the meat up. Hold the blade the other way, chop the meat up. The pan is on low heat, and it will get warm. And we're going to have to wait a few minutes while that happens. Remember what I showed you from the first video we did? Use a saucer. It keeps you from having to clean the stove up. And we'll be back in a few minutes to turn the sausage and break it up again. We're following, by the way, if you want to call it recipe, it's a how-to, and the link will be in the description. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes, and as you can see, well, maybe you can't really, but the meat has started to, as the recipe on the web says, bond itself back together. So we're going to take it, we're going to flip it over, we're going to turn it, not stir it. We're going to turn all of it over. And then, once I get that done, hopefully without appearing to be too clumsy, yeah, you do what you have to do. But once you get it all turned over, then you go through and you break it up again. First holding the blade turned one way, chopping straight up and down. And then you turn the blade across the meat. You can turn the pan a little bit if you want to. We're in the kitchen here. We don't have to look cool. We just have to be effective. Okay, so we're about 5 minutes into browning the meat. About 5, maybe 6 more minutes to let it finish browning. And see this, how this has got red in it or pink in it? We're going to be checking on that to make sure that, well, see, turning it over is going to help. That's going to get that piece to brown much quicker. But you can check on the bigger chunks like this. Make sure you're breaking them up. And in about 5 minutes, when we come back, we're going to check. We're going to turn it all over again, break it up again, look for pink. And as long as all of the meat has, in fact, browned, we're going to be done. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes, and I'm back to check the meat and break it up again. And it looks like it's all done. There doesn't appear to be any pink showing anywhere. Yeah. So that, ladies and gentlemen, and kitchen novices all over the world, is, as they say, it. We are done learning how to brown meat. The next video will be a variation on breakfast American style. So for those of you who have heard about sausage gravy and eggs and bacon, and yeah, that's what we're going to be doing, is a variation on that. Look forward to seeing you then. Bye-bye.